All right, let's briefly talk about these two MagSafe tripods. They're both made by the same company, which is called Ulanzi. On the left, I've got an MA60. On the right, I've got an MA38. I'm mostly going to talk about them for my use case scenario, which is to use them as the stand for a screen in a writer deck scenario. And at the end, I'll go over some of the photograph or videography benefits of one over the other. But mostly I'm concerned about compactness, portability, and stability when holding up a screen for a writer deck. So as you can see, the one on the left, the MA60, is considerably more compact. This is the smallest that each can go. Okay, so more compact, taller. But when unfolded, they're approximately the same height. In fact, the MA60, the more compact one, this one, is ever so slightly taller than the taller one when they're both unfolded. Doing this one off screen because it's a little stiff because I haven't had it as long. So there they are unpacked, and you can see ever so slightly taller on the left. Does it make that big a difference? Not really, no. But these are the tallest tripods that I can find that are not, full-on photography tripods. This one, because of the carabiner, has a little less magnet here, right? And it is, believe it or not, noticeable. It's not significant in the sense that I would not buy this one. The magnets on these are both very strong. Okay, but you'll notice that the legs are quite different in regards to thickness. So almost 2.5 times size width here, and maybe 1.75 size on here. That makes a big difference in regards to stability, as does the weight, because you're basically those legs, because they're on the bottom, you're putting the weight on the bottom, which is where you want it to be, so the device doesn't become top heavy with the tripod is important. All right, so let's stick some stuff on here and you can see what it's like. This is a Viwood's reader, which is about the same dimensions as an iPhone 17 Pro and approximately the same weight. It sticks on nice, you can hear the click. Obviously, if I'm typing here, you're gonna, be able to read that and everything's copacetic. You can also, of course, go into portrait mode if you prefer that. Okay. Now, one of the problems here is going to be with stability. Because this is lighter at the bottom, because of the thinner legs, you're a little precarious. It's still, it's still pretty good, right? But let's compare it to, say, this one, which has fatter legs and is bottom heavy. I'm hitting it about the same amount, I think. I'll move it a little further back so you can see. It doesn't feel as precarious to me. Now, you might think those are comparable. They're pretty similar, and you're right. Now, keep in mind that this is a relatively small device as far as using for a screen, in a writer deck. If you go to a larger device like this, which is a Viwood's Mini, you'll start to see a substantial difference. Because this is considerably heavier, you now have a substantial amount of weight applied to the top. Again, decent. Doesn't seem that bad to me. And again, if you wish, this one actually can be rotated around like so, and like that. All right. Much better. Okay, but when I move it on to here, which can only work this one way, all of a sudden you're in trouble. Right? Doesn't take much to make it tip over. Obviously, if you're using this at home and you live by yourself, that's not going to be any problem. But if you have kids running around, a dog with a waggy tail, you're out at a bar, you're riding on a plane, the precariousness of this one is going to be a problem. Not so much for this one. Now, how else does the compactness affect things? Well, because this one the 60 goes considerably smaller, it's great for just putting on your device, and you can put that in your pocket. It's no problem. There's no part of the tripod extends beyond the edge of the device. That's not the case here, right? You're not putting that in your pocket. Hence the need for this carabiner. Okay? Now, even on the larger device, it's still a problem, right? So you have to weigh the stability of this to its compactness. Is this going to be a pain for you to be carrying around as a separate piece of equipment? Are you going to remember to bring this when you walk out the door, whereas this is always attached to my device when I'm at home because I'm writing? This is on it. All I have to do is fold it up and take it away. If I pick this up, I might not remember to take this with me, right? Something to keep in mind. So if portability is important, that's going to be a factor for you. If stability is a factor, then obviously you're going to have to go with a more stable device. Now, let's talk also about the extra features of this one. So in addition to this carabiner, which you might find useful, it has other factors that you can use. So it has a magnet here. This one does not have any secondary magnet. So this magnet can be used to attach it to a refrigerator or a steel door, or a wall at the gym, of a pillar, a metal pillar. And then you can, you attach this to the wall and you've got your device. All of a sudden you're at the gym, you could watch a video, or you could record your workout, whatever you want to do. Can't do that with this one, right? This also has an extended, these feet here are a sort of shoe device that can fit into many photography tripods, like full-size professional tripods. All of a sudden you can just slide this in there, and then you've got the full abilities of a major piece of equipment that your phone is now attached to. This, again, does not have that. This also has something called a mantis foot, which is here. You can see that it sticks out that little bit. And, imagine you've got a door. Imagine that this is a door. That's what's happening. You're hanging this off the door, and you're sticking your device to it. Obviously, it's not going to extend beyond the door, which is great if you want to be in places where, you want to capture angles that you otherwise wouldn't be able to capture. In addition, as I showed you already, this rotates, which allows you to get various angles that you otherwise wouldn't be able to get because of the top heaviness of your setup, right? You always want this to be as straight as possible. You want this to be over your center of gravity. That's going to give you the most stability. By moving this, okay, now if this was a phone, I'd be filming down at the ground. I could be filming at the sky, right? Or I could turn it around this way and film more down, or film more at the sky this way, right? It's going to become a little precarious again. You have to play with it and where the feet are going to be. There, like that. You can't do that, obviously, with this. It's fixed. This thing doesn't rotate. All you can do is just have it that one way. Now, both of these can be used in another way, which is like so. Watch this. So, okay, there you go. And again, this can also be done this way. Right, so that's a quick setup. It's obviously very stable. The issue with this, of course, you can do this with this one as well. Right? But the issue with this is a lack of height. So if you're using this as a writer deck, obviously, if this is going to be at table level, like this, you're looking down, which a lot of people, for their posture, they think, oh, my head's looking down for hours, instead of raised like this when it's on the fully extended tripod. But again, if you're in an unstable environment, this is going to be handy on a plane. That's probably the scenario that I would go with, is this, because it's the most stable. I've had this, the MA60 for longer, and I was writing in a bar, and stupidly I had it fully extended, like so. And bartender hit this as he was passing me a drink, and all of a sudden my device is toppling over. So I won't do that again, but something to keep in mind. So stability, the most stable that this one can be is like so. You can play with the angle ever so slightly by tilting this, right? But it's not a significant difference, and it's no difference to the height. So those are the two devices, the Ulanzi MA60, MA38. And again, here's the packaging so you can see. This one, that 38, claims to be the #1 selling by sales volume of photography accessories in the world. I don't doubt it. I just wish that they would make one this size with this wider shoe thing and the better stability of the thicker feet. They're both great. So if you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments. Thanks very much.